Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith, and how are you all today? It's the second one I'm putting up today because they're both just kind of short, and I'm getting back to writing on the seventh book here in just a second. By the way, I should remind you that all of my videos, regardless of what ads YouTube puts on, are brought to you by my books, the Stonemont series, the Reversion, the Revival, the Renewal, An Appeal to Heaven, and the Blessings of Freedom, the best post-apocalyptic books out there about preparing for, surviving, and rebuilding after a total collapse. You can get them from Amazon, the link's down below, or you can get them from me, and the link for that is down below too. Sixth book is almost out, and I'll be telling you in the next few days what the name of it is. But it should be, well, I'm not going to go any farther than that. Okay, beef. Okay, one of the most important parts of preparedness in your food stocks is protein. A lot of people, I know, and me included, I mean, a lot of it, we start with, rice and beans, and I'm a big on pasta because it has more protein than rice. So we do all that. One of the hardest things to stock is animal protein. Now, if you're like me, you stock a lot of canned meat. I happen to love Spam. Canned ham, canned chicken, canned all sorts of stuff. You can get it in cans and it'll last a long time. But, we also like to have something a little bit fresher, something that we can freeze. And one of my favorites is beef, is either steaks or ground beef. And a lot of people have been saying that there is a shortage. We've been hearing a lot about the shortage of food, the food shortage, famine's coming and all like this. You should always be prepared for that. If it comes, and I've talked about this extensively on other videos, if it comes, you should be prepared. Okay, you should be prepared for an interruption of supply lines and or the price going up of inflation. Well, I want to tell you something from my own experience here, and you can extrapolate this. And if it's going on around me, I'm sure it's going on somewhere around you. Okay. When we hear that cattle herds are being decimated, or farmers are having to sell their herds, or ranchers are having to sell their herds because of prices in grain and feed and all this kind of stuff, that results in something that many don't realize, and it means that there is excess product on the market. Now, while this is killing a lot of the cattlemen, and I've talked to cattlemen here in Kansas, and it's really hurting them, and I feel for them. As preparedness-minded people, we need to keep these things in mind, and if there's something that we can do to improve our position, we have to. We should. I'm always sorry if it's at the detriment of someone else, but if ground beef is available at a cheap price, I'm getting it for whatever it is. Now, in this kind of thing, we know that a lot of the lower end beef, it doesn't come from here. It could come from South America. It could come from Saudi Arabia. It could come from everywhere in the world. They grind it up, they freeze it, or they put it in coolers, they ship it over. And so just lately, we have been having ground beef around here for $2.99 a pound. Usually it's $4.99, something like that. $2.99 a pound, so we buy a bunch. Well, I just lost several hundred pounds because one of our freezers, I went out there and it was thawing, and I thought, oh, this is, I guess somebody didn't, maybe the seal didn't set, and I put it back. Well, anyway, long story short, mice had chewed through the cord, and I lost several hundred pounds of meat, of frozen meat, and that's no joke. That ticked me off. So I have to fix that freezer. I'll be doing that today probably, because Kelly just told me that there is a sale at our grocery store on ground chuck, very good quality ground chuck, for $1.99 a pound. Okay. So I'll be fixing that freezer. I might be buying another freezer. And we're going to stock that up. And yes, I am taking measures to make sure that those little mousekins don't get to any more of my cords. But anyway, think about that. Realize that the cattle market, the meat market, it's global. It's global, and there might be some problems. There might be drought, in certain areas and not in others. But when cattle, do you remember that time? How many cattle were being lost in Kansas? I don't remember. It was a lot. And I think probably in Oklahoma and Texas too. I'm not sure, but just a lot of it was in Kansas. We're a big beef producer here. And it really didn't affect the beef market at all. It affected the farmers, the ranchers, a lot. But it didn't affect the market because the market is so large. It's global. And the ones making it through, the ones making the profits, they're the processors. The cattleman is having a hard time. If you have access to someone, a local producer, we buy from a local ranch here, and their prices are not. Many times they're lower, and they actually have a store in town here. Their ranch is out west. But they have a store in town, and they have every cut you can imagine, and it is great. And in many cases, the price is lower than what you would find at the big supermarkets. Now, sometimes it's higher, but sometimes it's, if the big markets put a big sale on, then our local ranch is not going to be able to match that, and they keep their prices stable while the large stores go up and down and up and down and up and down. So it would be best if you have some in your area, if you have a local producer, you can hook up with them, and it's just kind of like eggs, people who were paying $3 a dozen back when eggs were $1.29, or around here they were 77 cents at Aldi a dozen, just a year or two ago. People who were paying $3 a dozen for good farm fresh eggs, well, that seemed expensive at the time, but now when the eggs are $6, $7, the people that are getting them directly from the producers are still paying $3. So something to think about. So if you might check your sales, remember how important protein is, and especially animal protein. And so I'm going to have to go restock some of mine. Since they're giving it to me this good deal of $1.99 a pound, you can't beat that. Remember, we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. So my preps for today is to be fixing a freezer and buying a bunch of ground beef. Hope you have something in mind. Remember that my books are available on Amazon or through me, and the links are down below, as is the link to come on join us on the Patreon channel. I put up some very interesting things over there this morning, and there's already some good discussions on it. If you're not with us, we'd love to have you, and I think you'd like it. So you all have a good day. I'm going to get back to writing the next book, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.